Hello guys, welcome to the 10th session of Selenium WebDriver beginner series. In this session, we will learn about how to work with input buttons. We will look at how to verify button disabled or enabled. We'll look at how to get the button text. We will look at how to click on a button. Let's get started. This is the first method, is enabled. This will help us to verify the button is disabled or enabled. If it is disabled, it will return false. If it is enabled, it will return you true. So this is, if you look at here, you see this returns true because the button is enabled. If button is disabled, that returns as a false. So this is a sample code I have shown over here. So if you look at this is my code to identify button, and this is my method is enabled. If this is enabled, then this returns true, and then this block gets executed. Else means if it is disabled, then this particular block gets executed. So this is how you can verify button enabled or disabled. Let's look at one example. So I'm creating one new package. So we have day 9. This is the day 9 package working with hyperlinks. Now I create new package, right click, new package, day underscore 10. Click finish, right click, new class, UI underscore interact underscore, you can say input buttons or buttons, select main method, finish. As we selected main method, so main method defaultly added to your class. Now copy code to launch the browser. So I'm copying it from the previous example, as it's a duplicacy of learning, so I just copied it. Control I, so that all alignments done automatically. Okay, so now I put some breakpoint. Now we will see along with, like, we'll debug it and run it. This is a WebDriver path and Chrome driver initialization, and driver.get will open that sample page. Now right click, debug as Java application. When we run in debug mode, the execution will be paused at your breakpoint, so that it is easier to do the code part during the runtime. Select, click on next, step over. Now you see the browser will open that local sample page from C drive. This is my sample page opened. Now if you look at, you can see there are two buttons, the cancel and OK. So let me get set the page. You see these are the two buttons. Now we will look at identifying these two. Right click, inspect, cancel button. It has a button 1 property. Okay, button underscore 1. So now what I do, I write driver dot identifying the button, driver dot find element. This is the first method to identify any web object, and by dot we copied ID, so paste that ID because this is the property we copied. Copy that, paste it over here. Dot, what is the method we are looking at? That is enabled. So this will give you the button enabled or disabled, means returns true or false. If enabled, true, else false. So just select the code from starting to ending, right click, inspect. Now see this given false because the button cancel is disabled, right? So this is how is enabled work. Okay, so let's recheck for OK button 2. So for this it should return false, right? Because that is enabled by dot id button underscore 2. Okay, that is a property of the button 2 by dot id dot is enabled. Okay, so select it. This should return true as button is enabled, isn't it? This should return false as button is disabled, right? So select the code for OK, right click, inspect, you see true because that button is enabled. This returns false. So you can put some conditions basis, like if you wanted to print out to console, if this is enabled, system.out.println button is enabled. Else what you can write as it disabled. Else copy that system.out.println, paste it. Instead of enabled, make it as disabled. Got me? Okay, the same way, if driver dot find element dot so and so dot is enabled, same sys out control space, or you can copy it. You can copy the entire block. In fact, else spot copy paste. So this is how you can check button is disabled or not. I saved it, so I need to recompile the code. So let me restart. So we have some breakpoint there. Okay, so this is over here and it stopped at breakpoint. Continue F6. See, button is enabled so that that particular block of code would be executed. Sorry, it is disabled, so disabled got printed. The second button, nothing but OK button, that is enabled, right? So button enabled block gets executed. F6, continue, continue. So this is how the is enabled will work with to verify the button is enabled or disabled. In fact, this is not only for buttons, any web element, if you wanted to verify it is enabled or disabled, you can use this method. Okay, got it. So now next we will look at get text and click method. So namingly, the get text is used to get the text of the web element. So now we have just seen button 1, button 2. So what are those text? So you see cancel or OK, right? So if you wanted to verify that, okay, some XYZ button is displayed with some click me or OK or cancel, then you can use this method. So button, you written a code to identify the button, and get text used to get the text. And this is a concatenation operator, means this is a text and this is a variable value. So I used plus button text so that it would be printed to your console. And the next is click. So click method used to click on any web element, not only for the buttons, even sometimes we may use it to click on hyperlinks, checkboxes, radio buttons. So the click is a common keyword which can be used to click on any web element. Okay, so let's look at one example over here. So the same example we have over here, we just copied, we just created, right? If this is enabled, then print enabled, and this is disabled, print disabled. Run in debug mode. Okay, so the WebDriver would be launched and the local sample HTML page is opened. This is my sample HTML page. Okay, move it right side just to see side by side. Now we wanted to get text of this. Okay, so right click, inspect. In fact, we already identified this, but let's look at again. Oh, I'm sorry for this. Oops. Yep, I got it. So what is the button property? Button 2. We already declared over here. So you can copy it or you can write your own code like driver dot. What are we looking? We are looking at get the button text. So write the code string text. We are putting in some variable driver dot find element by dot id and paste that id button 2 dot get text. You see get text. Okay, now we are retrieving it and storing in text variable. Okay, just inspect it. Yes, you got me. Okay, because that is the button 2 text. Okay, so just to print you can write syst.out.println. So if you wanted to write your own message, you can say button text is colon and plus means to concatenate variable value text. Okay, so now this value would be printed to your console. So means this area, look at this, here it is printed. So this is about get text method, and clicking on the button we will look at. Again we'll take the same code to identify button 2 dot, you can say click. Got it? So now look at your click button, right click and inspect. You see it's clicked on, then you see you, oh my god, you clicked me, because on click event this type of message would be appeared. So this is about the clicking and getting the text of your buttons. Okay, so that's all about working with buttons. Let's have a hands-on. We will go through this particular practice. So go to this particular website, verify cancel button is disabled, click on OK button, git and print the OK button text to console. The similar one. So but for the example as I have shown there, it's a static page. This is one of the blog which I created. So now you will see these are the two buttons are there. So now you will be writing code to navigate to this web page and clicking on this button and get the text of the buttons. Okay, so let's get started. This is the 10th session. I am creating a day underscore 10. Okay, so you got this, and right click new class. As a practice we are following naming convention. This is very important. Working in projects you should follow certain naming conventions. So you can say input buttons or buttons, that's fine. Select this main method. You got this code generated. Okay guys, so now first step is to launch the browser. So I'm copying the code. This is where framework helps, so no need to copy. You can follow, you can make it as a reusable method and can reuse it. But now let's copy this. Okay, and now you need to navigate to this site. So where to navigate? This particular site, right? So copy this site address, copy this. Okay guys, and where is my Eclipse? No, this is my, sorry, this is my Eclipse. Paste over here. So this will navigate or open the application. Then once you open the application, you need to, what is your, verify that cancel button is disabled. Okay, so this is my cancel button. Right click, sorry, uh, you can write F12, you can press F12 even. Yeah, okay, so inspect. Okay, cancel button, right? This is my cancel button and ID is button 1, the same one. Now driver, we are telling WebDriver to find element by dot we copied id, so I'm using button1 because we copied id. This is id property. Okay, so I used button1 dot is enabled, so that this will return you the true or false. So what is our condition? We should verify the cancel button is disabled. So if not, then the test case is failed, right? So if driver dot button1 is enabled, if it is enabled, then it is a fail, right? Because it should not be enabled, it should be disabled. So you can write failed button is enabled, and else block means if it is not enabled means disabled. This is what we expecting, right? We are expecting is should be disabled. So our condition is achieved when else condition block executed, means this is a pass case. Passed button is disabled. Hope you are getting it right. So as these are only one single line, so you no need to have this curly braces open. If there are multiple lines, like if you have any another line over here, you need to have this curly braces. For a single line, it is okay if you can remove this. This is a best practice. Okay. Now else, this is the block you can write. So this is our third line. Now click on OK button. Click on OK button. Okay, I'm writing here. Click on OK button. So to click first, we need to identify. Okay, by dot which property the OK button is about. Let's look at OK button. That is the property button2. Copy this by dot id button2. Okay, so dot click on this. Okay, so I clicked it. This is the second step. And the third is get and print the OK button text to console. Okay, so get and print. Get and print the OK button text to console. Okay, so the same button we are looking at. Okay, dot get text is a method can get the text of the button. Okay, so now we need to print it to the console, right? So to print it to the console, first you need to store it in a variable. So in which variable we need to store? Web element or boolean or what? We need to decide by looking at this method. This method is returning string, right? So we can only store this value in string button text equals to this, and you can write system dot out control space button text is concatenate means plus operator, then this one. Got it? So this is done. Okay guys, so let's evaluate this. So just to brief you what we have done, we used browser to launch this home page. This is our first step, and verify that cancel button is disabled. Here we are checking the cancel button is disabled. This is a cancel button ID. The button is disabled, and we are clicking on OK button. Here we are clicking on OK button and get and print the OK button text to console. Getting here using the get text and printing it over using system.out.println. So these are the three steps that is talking about our practice session. Okay, so we are good. Let's run it. Put some breakpoint. Put some breakpoint. This is just to see how it is behaving. Right click, debug as Java application. So it's a Firefox driver. So Firefox will be launched. Ding ding. Yes, you got. You will see the browser opened. The Firefox is launched to this page. Okay, it's halted over here. Step it is not disabled because this is written false, so button is disabled, and this is our expected condition, right? This is our expected condition. So this block gets executed and click on OK button. Okay, so here I'm at this page, and after clicking on, you will see some message. So far it did not showing there, but once you run this block, this code, it will click on this. Now you see, oh my god, you clicked me. So this is a button event which is triggered once this particular code clicked on this button. And now get the button text. You see, you can mouse over button text, or also you can, you can put some watch. Watch means that will evaluate the variable value. You can see the button text here. The value would be identified once after you're running it. Okay, so this is helpful when you're running the test script. You can see the runtime values. Okay, you see button text is okay. Got it? So this is how you can work with your buttons. So always, you need to close your browser. That's why, as a best practice, you need to use driver, close the browser, else your system will not close all the process that was created. So better you can use either quit or close, so that these all the windows that are opened by WebDriver gets closed. So this is how you can work with